All right, guys, let's talk about PayPal stock, and specifically, let's talk about, is it the same or an even better opportunity than Meta was? And what are the two catalysts that you absolutely need to be looking for in order for that run to start? But I gotta give you guys a warning right now. This could be complete fool's gold. I mean, we got Apple Pay hanging out there and FedNow and a lot of other people looking to enter this space and completely destroy PayPal. So, I mean, is this actually a great opportunity or is it complete fool's gold and we're in for a lot of pain? So let's discuss all that today, right after you gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. Well, honestly, before we even discuss is PayPal better than Meta or a better opportunity than Meta or anything else like that, we need to talk about the competition first, because if we can't figure that out, then obviously the rest of it is a complete moot point. So let's start right there, and we'll actually start with Apple Pay first. To me, this doesn't take away from PayPal at all. If anything, it takes away from legacy banks. I mean, if you're already using PayPal and you're already a PayPal user, why would you suddenly switch over to Apple Pay out of nowhere? I just don't think that's the crowd that it's going to draw. Now, sure, I agree. There's some that aren't happy with PayPal and they're looking for an alternative, and Apple Pay obviously makes it easy for Apple, users to do that. But I think the big misconception out there is that basically PayPal has the number of users that are out there, and the only place that can't go up, Apple can't pull from new users. It has to just be PayPal users that have to come over and convert to Apple Pay in order for Apple Pay to grow. And I don't think that's, honestly, nothing could be further from the truth in my opinion. Because when I look at it, I'm a person that, hey, I own lots of Apple products. I don't personally use PayPal. I have used it in the past, but it's not something that I personally use often. So I'm not an avid PayPal user like their user base is, that active user base that they have. However, with Apple Pay, definitely got me interested in at least trying that, right? I haven't had any interest in Venmo and any of the rest. Just one of those things, I just don't do it. I don't know, maybe because I'm old, whatever the case is. But the point being, I just haven't used it. However, with Apple Pay, they make it nice and easy for me to do right there with my phone. It's definitely something I'd be interested in. But I think that is much more the category of customer they're pulling from, is myself and other folks who don't use those type apps. And this kind of being my introduction and their introduction into this world of immediate payment, style type things, like Venmo, like PayPal, other things like that. This is kind of our introduction to it. And they're not pulling from that base. They're pulling from a new base, basically away from legacy banks and a lot of other areas like that, credit card companies, et cetera, et cetera. That right there to me is the real threat in regards to where is Apple going to take their market share from. It's going to be much more from that pot than it is going to be off of PayPal's pot. I mean, bottom line, if you're a happy PayPal user, why the heck are you switching to something else? You're probably not. And more importantly, all the people who are trying Apple Pay for the first time, but maybe they don't like something about it. It's been kind of mixed out there. Not everybody's loved it. Maybe those folks look for an alternative now because there's pieces of Apple Pay that they love, and that may actually drive some more people to PayPal. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a huge number or anything like that, so please don't take that as like a catalyst to 10x the stock or anything like that. But I absolutely could see some people enjoying some features of Apple Pay, but wanting some of the features that PayPal has instead, and maybe making that shift over. But I just don't see this mass exodus from PayPal coming down to Apple Pay to use Apple Pay instead. I just think it's going to come from a different source, somebody who's already not using those products. What about FedNow? I mean, it's government, right? And they can just kill whatever they want. So clearly it's going to just take over PayPal. This is probably one of the most overblown things that I've heard in a long time, to actually think that people are going to come off of a commercial anything that's used out there and use the government version. It's just kind of one of those deals. It's, if you use UPS for your business, it doesn't matter what the new system the post office launches. Most people are going to stick with UPS or something else, knowing full well the post office just can't execute it nearly as well as, UPS or FedEx or whoever you choose to use can execute to that. So I view this very, very much the same way. One, it is kind of complicated and multiple banks have to play nice in order for it to work in between banks. There's a lot more complexity to it than what is just presented, and obviously than what PayPal actually is, which is much less complex than what FedNow is. And the bigger point that I think everybody seemed to have missed with FedNow, especially once the narrative kind of ran, is it's just intended to bring the banking from 1980s into the 2023 now. That's much more the intent. I mean, to me, it is still mind-boggling that I go to wire money and I have to wire it before 2 p.m. and it has to go to the Fed and it doesn't post the same day if you don't get it in there in time, and I can't do it over the weekend, and all these other ridiculous things to where I've been able to move money instantaneously for a lot of years outside of actually the banks being able to do it and the Fed being able to operate in that manner. So this is much more about bringing the banking system and the Fed out of the 80s and into the 2020s, as opposed to anything that's going to actually take away market share from PayPal or any of the other companies involved in this space at all. I don't see it as a threat at all. Sure, you may have some new users, folks that maybe didn't use anything before and only wired money. Maybe they'll switch over and start using Fed now. But I think that user base is going to be very, very low and very, very niche, if I got that word right, as opposed to, the PayPal user. The average PayPal user, I just don't see them switching over to use anything in regards to Fed now. And it's just one of those things. I don't know where that narrative came from. I don't know how it came about, but it's not something I am worried about at all in regards to PayPal. I know that take doesn't create controversy or whatever the case is, whatever the heck the news story is. I'm sorry to bust the bubble there, but Fed now is not here to take over PayPal or anything else like that. It's just not the case. To me, this all lines up very nicely for showing that PayPal is a big opportunity, but the question becomes, how big of an opportunity is it actually? Can it actually top the Meta opportunity? That's really the bigger question we all want answered, right? Well, right here on this channel, you guys know what I'm about to say. Let's talk about valuation, because we talk about that just about as much as we talk about planning. I know some people get annoyed by it. I apologize, but those two things are absolutely critical to your investing. So let's take a look at Meta and look and see what that valuation is. And then we can look at PayPal to kind of see, is it the same opportunity? Is it a different opportunity? Or is it not an opportunity at all? When we go back to when Meta was in the 80s, the PE was in the 8s, guys. It was ridiculous. It was trading, 3 times cheaper than Coca-Cola, then 4 or 5 times cheaper than McDonald's. I mean, it was just crazy how cheap that valuation was for a business that was printing cash. It's not like it was losing money or anything else of that nature. It was still printing cash. Now, obviously, he was burning a lot of money on the metaverse, but it still printed cash, guys. And of course, and I know a lot of you guys out there too, were just gobbling up shares like crazy. I mean, I couldn't get enough Meta shares because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when it got under 100 and then down to 80. It was just, I don't even know what people were thinking at that stage. And the link in the pinned comment will give you access to my group where you can see the next Meta opportunity that we're buying up like crazy in real time. We got 5 free courses, a ton of stuff there. Just check out the pinned comment down there. I may have left something special for those that want to join. But the bottom line is that valuation on Meta was almost like bankruptcy pricing. I don't know how else to say it. It wasn't priced for bankruptcy, but it was that ridiculous to where it's just like, I mean, that was the expectation, was they were just going to go into oblivion. That was just a dying company. That's what it was priced at with Meta. And well, I think PayPal's valuation is just honestly stupid as well. It's stupid low. I cannot say with a good conscience it is nearly as close to a crazy opportunity as Meta was. It's not to that level, guys. I'm sorry. But that does not mean that there is not an opportunity either with PayPal stock. Opportunities happen every day in the market, but seeing an opportunity like Meta is just rare. It's very, very rare. Even though there's opportunities every day in the market, the Meta type opportunity is extremely rare. So for me, it's honestly useless to kind of compare the two in the end, because it can kind of skew me from taking advantage of a great opportunity in a great stock because I'm looking for that Meta type opportunity, which I may not see for a while. At least in a stock that I want to buy, I may not see it for a while. Reality is, I don't need a Meta-like opportunity to make a lot of money in a stock like PayPal. Valuation is still cheap, in my opinion, of course. And all the noise like ChatGPT killing, Google and all that other sort of noise like that that's around PayPal is going to pass too, and it's going to finally catch itself on another run up. But the question becomes, what are the 2 catalysts that we need to be looking for as investors for this stock? And remember, I don't count catalyst as, I don't know, somebody flushes a toilet, the stock goes up, or all the other ridiculous things that people like to name out there as catalysts for stocks, something that's coming 10 years into the future, but it should be a catalyst today, and you should be paying a premium today for something that's experimental into the future. Whatever the case is, all that other noise like that, get that out. There's really just 2 very basic things that need to happen in order for us to kind of see PayPal start that next uptrend. Now, after these things happen, does it start before? Does it start, 2 months after? Does it start a week after? Who freaking knows? It's Wall Street. I mean, you guys know how that works, right? It's freaking Wall Street. But as long as I see these 2 things, that's when I know it's primed to go on its next run. So the first one is, and we're starting to see it already, is kind of fintech, banking, that whole sector finally coming out of the doghouse. I mean, it's been in the doghouse for over a year now, and that happens, guys. It's normal for Wall Street to put a sector, sometimes it's a company, sometimes it's an entire sector, in the doghouse for, 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half, 2 years. It happens, guys, and it has been in the doghouse. Looks like it's starting to finally climb its way out of it, but we got a long road to go before it's, quote unquote back in favor again. So we've got to see that train continuing to move. So that's the first thing. And the second thing we need to see is for PayPal to name that next CEO of the company. That's kind of the big shoe that falls, right? It's a big company, a lot of opportunity there for a CEO to make a lot of money and really make an impact. So who they name there, of course, is going to be key to sending it that next level up, because big money's not coming in until they know who's steering the ship into the future and what their vision is and all the other things like that. So we got a lot of traders in it right now. Some of those big institutions will start moving more and more and larger amounts into PayPal after those things have kind of been named and there's kind of clarity on that situation. But right now we don't have that. Maybe they'll give it to us on this earnings. Who knows? They didn't really give us a timeline, definitely not a definitive timeline. So we'll see when that happens. But those right there are kind of the two things I'm waiting on to see happen. And in the meantime, while it stays cheap, I'm going to continue to buy shares every time it goes on a little bit of a discount. So, and remember, if you want to see all my buy and sell alerts in real time, you want to see my watch list complete with price targets, you want to take 5 courses for free, you want access to the best Discord out there. We do weekly live Q&As, sometimes more than that. I put out tons of exclusive videos every week. And we got a stock analyzer tool that's coming that's going to be completely free for members. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and sign up for a membership. And maybe I'll have something special for you guys down there too. You click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.